Hi everyone, it's Don and welcome to the show. This is Gold Wingnut Live. Take off my watch because it's making all kinds of noise. All right, so we got quite a few people on. Looks like 46 so far. This is outstanding. So we've got a bunch of questions already on the screen. Let's get started. Oh boy, everybody's jumping in. Happy Sunday from Arkansas. Wow. Kim, hello everyone. Man. Messages are rolling. Okay, so Patty wants to know, do overhead wires run anywhere in Moultrie Creek, Shady Brook, or Edgewater? It would be really nice if they could bury those lines underground. They're not going to bury the lines underground. There are some lines that were, they ran along the old County Road 470. They ran parallel to it. Those lines still exist in their original position. They're not going to bury them. You just really can't bury the high voltage power lines, at least not that I'm aware of. But they're going to be there, and they're putting in a walking path for the ones going through Water's Edge and Shady Brook. All right, let's see. Carol wants to know, do cars and golf carts have to stop for waiting pedestrians that are not in road crosswalks? A pedestrian that is standing on the walking path, not in street. I'm not a sheriff or a police officer. I don't know what the laws say exactly, but generally, if you're not crossing at a crosswalk, you're taking your life in your own hands. Uh-oh, you're hearing everything I say twice. Hang on, I know how to fix that. All right, is that any better? We'll wait just half a second. Cecilia, you hearing me twice? Ah, good. All right, could have been anything. But anyway, let's see. Caveman says, no pictures of the new puppies. No, there's no new puppies yet. Although we are expecting 14 is the current count. So, needless to say, that was like getting a call, somebody saying, by the way, you're having triplets. Just totally took me by surprise. And that was on the last broadcast. All right, let's see. How's Lily? Lily is extremely pregnant. She is getting huge. I cannot believe how big she is. There's a lot of puppies in there. That's all I can say at this point. We're hoping, maybe tonight or tomorrow, it's got to be close, just looking at her size. But all the other signs aren't there yet. All right, let's see. Got a bunch of hellos and heys. Hi from Boston. Brian wants to know, when will the new golf cart path open over the turnpike? It's open. I know what you're asking, though. You're asking about going up to Monarch Grove and Finney and that area and Magnolia Plaza, and that's McNeil Drive. When will it open? When they're ready to sell houses. That's the best answer I can give you. They're working on the, what do they call that? I'll get it out in half a second. the rec center, the pool, and the thank you. My coffee arrived. They're working on the pool and the postal station now. There are Water's Edge is farther ahead, and Shady Brook is obviously basically done at this point, and that's really what's driving things. They've got to be building houses before they're going to open up an area. Just the way it is. It is about building houses here. Let's see. Wish I had a better answer, and I got a double or nothing bet with a guy by the name of Joe. He bet me that it would open up by the 1st of this month, and he lost. I say no sooner than the 15th of next month, and even that is, I think that would be extremely optimistic. Let's see. UF Drit. Sorry if I destroyed that. It says, "Hi Don, love your videos. Why do you think the villages not release at least the order in new communities will be built?" I was in sales for years. There's a thing called SWOT. Sell what's available today. They don't release any information until right before it goes on sale. They want to make the sale today. They want to sell the inventory that they have today. And by, if you say, well, 6 months from now, we're going to be building over here, then you're going to have 50 people say, well, I'm going to wait 6 months. They'd rather than buy now. It's business. Their business is to sell houses, and they're not going to tell you far in advance what's coming. Even the announcements of new sections, like this past week, a new section over in Shady Brook opened up on, I think it's Jeff Anderson Way, I think is the name of the street. They don't release it until they're ready to sell them. They don't tell anybody. It's always been that way, and to me, it makes good sense. It's just good business. I know it annoys people, but there you have it. Let's see. Let's see. Annette says, "Hello, Don. Is there anywhere I can get a map that shows all the villages?" Yes, there is. Let me show you. This is my website. Go to my website, and you'll see Villages Map at the top. Click on that, and you will see the latest version that Bill Vanes makes of the maps that I use. And the different colored blocks are the different villages. When he sends me an update, I try and get it up right away. These are the maps that I use in my videos. And he's been very gracious to keep me updated and allow me to use those. And so you can download it here. All right. Only here you want. Sound is fine. All right. Holy mackerel. We got a whole bunch that came in here. Come on, it says 14. Yeah, I know. 14 is just like, Cecilia was logged in twice. Okay. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, we have a whelping box. It was big enough for 7 last time. I got to double its size this week. Well, not this week, but as they get older, it's going to need to be doubled in size. It was 8 by 8. Now I'm going to make it 12 by 12. It's going to take up a good part of my living room. Let's see. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up here. Naperville Real Estate says, "Hi Don, is there noise and light that comes from the prison?" There are some lights, obviously, for safety and for security reasons. I don't know that you can see them. I've heard some people complain about the noise. You're going to have, it's always going to be something, okay? But the prison isn't something I'm worried about. The house that we just got, we're not closed on it yet. That one is a mile or so from the prison. I'm not worried about it. As far as the sound, it's going to be rare. Rodney Boyd says, "Do you have any information on new dog parks?" Yes, there's one going in next to the Farragut ball fields at Eastport. It's going to be a while yet. Kevin says, "Hi Don, does the Sumter County Sheriff Office have a volunteer citizen patrol to other counties such as similar to other counties such as Palm Beach and possibly Lake counties. Not that I'm aware of. I know that there is some traffic coordination, or not traffic coordination, I guess accident investigators or something like that. But I'm not aware of any volunteer program. Drew says, hi, happy Sunday, Don. How are the puppy doing? Don, do you envision the villages having some small man-made lakes in the southern area or something like water's edge areas? Well, small man-made lakes, we got some. I will tell you the new retention ponds, I would hardly call them ponds. I call them lakes. The one that's near the house that I just bought, or should I say that I am buying, it's 3/4 of a mile long. The one behind the high school that goes from the boathouse all the way up around the high school is well over a mile long, and it's actually been stocked in the last 2 weeks. Actually, they started stocking it about 9 months ago with feeder fish, and now they put in some big mouth bass. So they do have a lake coming in. Let's see. SSS. Hi, Don. Thank you for your fabulous service to the villages in Sumter County. You're a dark chocolate lover warrior, and we appreciate you. You're a Zelle sales rep. Okay, thanks. Yeah, Cecile says everybody's waiting for McNeil Road to open. We are, okay. Naperville Real Estate says, we are targeting Water's Edge and will be coming down in May to look around. When do you think they will be selling lots for designer homes? Water's Edge, they just started selling them in, Shady Brook. So, 2-3 months maybe. That's the best guess. All right, so Antonia asks, when is Eastport expected to be open or to be completed and the new rec center with indoor basketball courts? It's going to be sometime next year. I would imagine early next year, just based on some of the things that they've said. Yeah, they're keeping that under their hat, and rightfully so. They don't want to release too much information. Let's see. Boy, here we go. Oh, yeah, Kim, thank you. You're right. Everybody, please, thumbs up, hit the like button on your browser. Also, please subscribe. I am quickly approaching 20,000 subscribers. As I understand it, that's a kind of a magic number for the people at YouTube that buy commercial space. You get a lot more attention once you hit certain milestones like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers. It brings in more attention, and it does help pay the bills. Let's see. Victoria says, do you envision there will be new verandas in 2 to 3 years on waterfront areas like the ones you're buying? Oh yeah, they're going to continue to build verandas. Excuse me again. The verandas have proven themselves to be extremely popular. I'm not sure, but looking at the homes that I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing fewer courtyard villas being built as the number of verandas has increased. And it just makes sense. I mean, the two things that drive veranda homes and courtyard villas are pets and privacy. People have dogs. They want a fenced-in yard. That's why I bought a veranda home. That's why I bought a courtyard villa home. Yeah, they're still going to be. And as far as waterfront area, yeah, there's plenty of demand. So I would say that most definitely. Let's see. Yep. Steve says, yeah, they just started building at a minimum 6 months, but realistic a year. Yeah, you're right. Paula PV says, hey, all please support Don by clicking on the thumbs up. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see. Greg R. says, your audio level went way up when you switched to the view with the website. Like you changed microphones as well. I know what happened. It's just the way that scene was configured. It's the software that I use. I got to go through and balance it. It's difficult at this end because I can't hear what you all are hearing. A lot of times I'm just guessing. That's why sometimes you'll see people with headphones so they can hear what they're saying. To me, I hear an echo and it drives me nuts and I can't think straight. I went on a broadcast, a couple of years ago with Ken Herron. He's a pretty big YouTuber in the drone community. Funny as heck. He did an interview about the book I wrote, and I had headphones on, and I got these echoes. I was getting like 8 and 9 echoes. I couldn't understand a word he was saying, and anything I said, it got garbled. It was embarrassing. It was so bad. Let's see. John and Jane says, hey, Don. Hi, Don. Do you know what the landscape budget is for the villages? Ha! You know, that's a tough one, okay? And it's almost impossible to answer because every CDD has a landscaping budget. The Amenities Division has a landscaping budget. Project-wide fund has a landscaping budget. I said amenities. There's 2 amenities districts. There's the Sumter Landing Amenities District and the RAD something or other amenities district. I think it's residential amenities district north of 466. They both have separate ones. Plus, the developer has their own budget for the amenities that they own and the properties that they own. Shall I go on? You'd have to go through and add it up in all the budgets. It's crazy. Muskie says, I never heard any noise from Coleman, but you can see the lights above the very tip tops of the very tall trees. Okay. Janet says, you're open and honest regarding your reelection. What do you think is the major issues are, and how are you different from your opponent? Lastly, how can we support your reelection efforts? Thank you, Janet. Obviously right now, the big issue is our fire departments. We went through, we're going through a very austere year with our fire departments. The funding model that was presented seemed good at first, and then what we didn't do as county commissioners, in my opinion, is that we did not see real numbers. The real numbers came out when the, what do they call it? In August, you get a statement from the county telling you what your new budget's going to be. Once those came out, we started seeing what the real numbers were, and I at least realized that this was unacceptable. It was really, really twisted. So now we're in the process of new budgets. We have the Villages Public Safety Department Dependent District, which just came up with their funding scheme. And I've looked at it. It looks good to me. It makes sense. The sample numbers are showing seem reasonable. And that's going to affect everybody in the villages. The people outside of the villages that are serviced by Sumter County Fire Department, they're going to have a similar method. Instead of having a dependent district, it's going to be just a different operating fund for the county that is completely separate in revenues and expenditures from the general fund budget, so nobody's going to be paying twice for fire service. So how that plays out is really, really critical because the election is in August, and of course the budget gets approved in September. So that's really a huge issue. Yes, I am drinking iced tea and coffee at the same time. I'm a creature of habit. As far as if you'd like to make a donation to the campaign, you can just send me an email either at live@goldwingnut.com, don@goldwingnut.com, any of the email addresses I have, and I'll send you the information on where you can send it. I'm still working with my campaign consultant to get a web page put up and a way to take donations online. Janet said, how are you different from your opponent? I haven't been to jail. Sorry. I told myself I wasn't going to go there, but I did. But anyway, my opponent is campaigning as a Republican, but he is a Democrat. He ran a couple of years ago as a Democrat against Brett Haig, who was the predecessor to John Temple, the District 51 representative for the state house. He lost. He then turned around and changed his party affiliation because he realized he couldn't win in Sumter County as a Democrat, so he ran as a Republican. There are some fundamental differences, I believe, in the way we deal with funding businesses, priorities. I'll leave it at that at this point. Let's see. Terry says, hi, Don. With all the housing going up in the Wildwood and the villages, do you see the developer going into Adamsville before, during, or after the expansion of 301 south of the Turnpike? So Adamsville is a small community. Right now it's surrounded by DeSoto and McClure. I had to think what the other village was. I'm sure they made an offer for some of the folks in Adamsville. They turned them down. There are a lot of people upset because they lost their view, and that, well, they didn't lose their view. They lost the view of somebody else's property. They're done with that area. They're not going to, go into Adamsville. Terry, I'm just thinking, looking at your comment again, you're probably asking not about Adamsville, but about Coleman and the Coleman Ridge development, which is along 301. So I know that right now it's ready to start building houses, but they haven't started. That's going to be low-income housing in Coleman Ridge. I don't know what they're waiting on. My 8-ball is broken, my magic 8-ball. Let's see, the Eastport Square. Okay, Antonio was asking about the Eastport Square, not just about the recreation. Yeah. Again, next year, probably at this time next year, we're all going to be sitting there on the waterfront dancing and partying. Let's see. Bruce wants to know, what is the development across from Laurel Manor on 466? I don't know. It's another developer. They're building some, I guess they're townhouses. That's all I know. I'm not even sure who the developer is. I saw it at one time, and it's not something I committed to memory. Let's see. Thomas says, do golf carts merging into traffic have to yield legally when merging with car traffic? Yes. When you are merging, when you're given direction to merge, you have to yield to the other traffic. Let's see. Also share with all your friends and enemies too. Thanks, Mushki. Muskie says that Don should have his silver 100,000 subscriber with that quality of video. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it, Muskie. Let's see. I heard the rec centers in Eastport will be 3 stories. Is this true or rumor? What you're seeing, that 3-story building, is not the recreation center. What you are seeing is the sales office that's being built, building 12. That's what it is, Pauline. Even though it looks like it's 3 stories, that is not the rec center. That's a common misconception. The rec center is just north of it. Right now, the indoor gymnasium area with the indoor pickleball and all that, the columns are starting to be built, and they're starting to put up walls, block walls for some of the actual building structure. All right. So, yeah, I would say it's a rumor. I mean, this is a senior citizens community. There are a few 2-story homes here, but they are by far the exception, not the rule. Most homes are built 1-story, 0 threshold, no steps, except for maybe into the garage. So, I don't see it as 3 stories. Maiko says, I noticed new wall directly across from the prison entrance. Is that part of Middleton or separate new village? Let me think. So I know that they're putting up some walls along Marsh Bend Trail. And that's for noise. They do that a lot. And that's directly across from the prison. If you're talking about on 470, I honestly haven't been down 470 in a while. I'd have to go look. That's the best thing to tell you. Next time I'm out driving around, providing I don't have puppies to deal with, I will take a look for that. Let's see. Mike B says, any news on when boosters will open? So, I was by boosters yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. And I looked. I mean, there were. It looked like ants on a sugar cube. There were so many guys working there. It's crazy. The word that the Villages has put out is late spring, early summer. So I would expect probably sometime in June, which would be late spring, early summer. All right. Let's see. Cecilia Hartman says, the rumor that's floating around is that the build that is going across from Lake Deaton on 44 is going to be a Hooters. Please tell me that's not true. Across from Lake Deaton on 44. I know what you're talking about. As far as I know, no. I haven't seen anything come up in any of the permitting sites for any of the Hooters. I know Hooters has said that they're going to build 3 in the area, but I haven't seen any indication of it. And honestly, that wouldn't be a great location for Hooters. They want to be around like a shopping mall or someplace like that, someplace where there's a lot of existing commercial activity, because that draws in people. Sitting out in the middle of nowhere like that wouldn't be a good fit for them. Jerry Bell says, let's see, Pauline TV put out a video of its renderings. You should watch. It's a large building for sure. Yep. Okay. Mike B says, any updates on Edna's Renos? I was just out there yesterday. I flew it just because I hadn't been there in about a month. The building looks nearly done. They got the air conditioning on. So if I were to guess, based on what I've heard, talking to some of the people that work in the area, probably another month, and it will be opening. Jerry Harris says, hello, I'm in late. Well, hello, Jerry. Good to hear from you. All right. Let's see. Michael says 3 times over the last few weeks, I've noticed workers' equipment in the woods south of 470 across from Dabney area. Plans out for there. I haven't seen anything yet. What's going on there? You know, it's anybody's guess at this point. But I have not seen any permitting, any plans for anything in that area. They could be just doing some preliminary work, trying to get ready for some stuff. All this talking gets the throat dry. All right. Janet says, if you're buying a home through the village as realtors, do you need a lawyer? Should you get one, or does Citizens Bank handle it all, the closing, holding onto the deposits, etc.? So they have their own closing agents through Citizens First Bank, I believe it is. I don't know of anybody that's ever used a lawyer for closing. You know, that would probably slow things down. And you know, you've got basically 30 days to close from the time you put your initial deposit down. And if you miss it, then there's some charges that they start charging you. But I haven't heard of anybody using a lawyer. I guess you could. There's no law against it. But anyway, let's see. Miko says, what's up with the big crane right on 301 in Old Wildwood? The big crane. I think I know what you're talking about. That's the one across from City Hall, Mike. And that's being used to build the new $30 million parking garage. Cecilia says you should go down 470. They're building between 470 and Central Parkway across from the schools. They are building between 470 and Central. Yes, they are. That is a new phase of Middleton. More family housing between 470 and Central Parkway. My next video will have some footage of that. I've already shot that. I did originally plan to have a video out today, but it's going to be probably a couple more days. I haven't had a lot of time to fly because of Lily, and we've basically had somebody here continuously for the last week, either Debbie or I, to watch her, just in case something happens. You know, like puppies come. Let's see. Janet says, what happens if you build a house, but it's ready before you sell your home? Does Citizens Bank allow you to pay taxes, utilities, etc., to carry the house until you close? Is that right? Yeah, Janet, I don't know exactly what would happen. I know that looking at the agreement, I'll get to your question in just a second, Cecilia. But yeah, I know that there's clauses about closing late. Yeah, you have to pay additional taxes and costs for utilities and that. But you know, when I read the clause, I just kept reading, to be honest with you, because wasn't really thinking about it. I don't intend to miss my closing date. Cecilia says, my Hooters question referred to the area across from Lake Deaton Plaza. Okay, I was thinking the village of Lake Deaton. My apologies. I have not seen anything for that. I believe that's been used as a staging area for the construction work by the state on County Road 470. It looks like they're finally getting close to being done, but it's anybody's guess at this point. I mean, I wish I had an answer on that, but again, that's a state-run job. and they work at their own pace. I'm just happy that 27441 going through Lady Lake is just about done. But of course, they're going to start working, I think, a little farther south to expand it to 3 lanes. It's probably going to be 3 lanes all the way up into Ocala. Back to the new wall. Yes, directly across from the main entrance to the prison on 470. If it's directly across, I'm assuming it's not, Mike, you're talking about the wall is going to be on the south side. If it's on the south side, you know what? Let me pull up the map of the villages. We'll take a look at it together. So this is the village's website. Let's zoom in. And we are down here. All right, so I know that in the area, okay, so County Road 470, I wish it showed my cursor, but for whatever reason, my computer screen isn't showing my cursor. But the yellow line across the big blank section is County Road 470. And you see another kind of weird shaped area south of 470. That's the Gibson utility plant and the rapid infill ponds or rapid inrush ponds that are built there. They may be building a wall. I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to go down there and take a look and see what's going on. Oh my gosh. Linda E. says, didn't the villagers buy the prison, or is that rumor? That is rumor, myth, conjecture, completely false. There is not enough land there to make it worth their while. The expense it would cost not just to buy the land and the prison. They might be responsible for some of the cost for relocating the prisoners. I don't know. Of course, they got to have another prison because this is the largest prison in the country. But even if they did acquire the land, okay, they have to get rid of the prison. Because it's a purpose-built thing. It's super hard concrete, super thick. It would cost them millions to demolish it and move it away. They would never make enough money from the sale of the houses in that square mile of land to offset the cost to make a profit of just demolishing the prison. So it is complete myth. It's been dispelled so many times, and it still surfaces. I'm expecting now an STD question to come up next. Anyway, let's see. Speaking of more lanes, so this is to see, are they adding another lane on 301 between Warm Springs and the Turnpike? They have been clearing the land on the east side of 301. All right. 301 and Warm Springs on the east side. So on the east side of 301 at Warm Springs, that's supposed to be a 7-Eleven gas station going in there. They haven't started on the expansion of 301 yet. It's still in the planning stages. I haven't seen the final plans yet, but it's supposed to start. Initially I heard late summer of this year they would start work, but I'm not sure they've acquired all the right of way yet. They got to buy up land along the road, but I haven't heard an update on that. I will probably hear one this Wednesday. There is a Metropolitan Planning Organization meeting that I have to go to on Wednesday. So that's always been one of the topics, is 301 as well as the Turnpike. John says, we enjoyed our lifestyle visit last week and enjoyed Zanzibar chocolate almost every night. Thanks for the pointer, Don. We hope we left some for you. Zanzibar is awesome. If you haven't tried it, at Darlin Sweet Shop in Sawgrass Grove, they have this really, really dark chocolate. It's called Zanzibar chocolate, and it is absolutely awesome. If you're a chocoholic like I am, it is to die for. It is excellent. It's a dark colored chocolate, but it doesn't taste like dark chocolate. It's actually 3 different chocolates mixed together, and it is really good. And if that's not your bag, try the cookies. The cookies are awesome too. Estelle, the owner of the place, she does a great job at baking, and the food is awesome. Gregor says, any updates on the new section of Richmond? Yes, I have some new footage of that. I have not had a chance to edit it yet. I did look at it last night. They are making progress. They've got the walls up. It doesn't look like, well, there is going to be courtyard villas. That's pretty obvious by the layout. But it does not look like there are going to be veranda homes. It looks like they are going to be designer homes that are going to be there. They did put up a wall between the trailer park and going down the Buena Vista extension. But once you get to the retention pond at the tip of that area, that would be to the south, at the south end, the walls stop, and there's no more material sitting there, so it looks like they're done with the walls. Let's see. It's just a rumor, like loofahs. I don't know what the deal is with loofahs. The word I hear is that it's so you can find your car. You go through a sea of parking lots. It's nice to be able to find it, and a lot of people use the loofahs. Jim O says, what type of prison is it? Max security, etc. And it's. I believe there's one high security. There's 4 prisons there. If you go to Wikipedia, they've got a real good explanation of what goes on there. But I know that there's 4 prisons there. One of them is a woman's prison, and I think one of them is high security. But none of them. It's not a supermax though. Here we go again. Cecilia, you got busy fingers. Let's see. All up on east side of the road, they are clearing a large area on 301, just past the 7-Eleven. Supposed to be going. You might take a drive that way. I will take a drive up there. Christy says, thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for watching. Danny says, what's your thoughts on the amenities fee? Do you think they will eventually cap it? No. There used to be what was called the deferral rate. That went away, I want to say, I'm trying to remember what year we voted it out. I think it was like 17 or maybe it was 18. I think 18. It was gotten rid of. The purpose of the deferral rate was to help equalize some of the mismatches that occurred in some of the older areas compared to the newer areas in the amount of the amenity fee. When it was finally gotten rid of, there was roughly 100 properties that were in the $100 range, and 95% were within $10 of the current deferral rate. So again, the deferral rate went away. The reason it had to go away was because costs keep going up. Let me put it to you a different way. I want to put a cap on your Social Security and your pension. Nothing can go up. That's all the income you get. Okay? But obviously costs are going to go up. Fuel cost, food cost, everything. We've seen that lately. It's just been crazy. So it had to go away. Had it not gone away, when it did, 2 years later, we would have had to dip into capital reserves, aka living on your savings account, just to meet our day-to-day obligations and expenses. it's a reality. Prices continue to go up. The good thing is, so there is a CPI adjustment, Consumer Price Index adjustment. It falls short every time. The CPI is a political football, and the people in Washington are constantly juggling around to change how it's calculated to make themselves look good. It always falls short year after year for the cost increases because it doesn't truly represent the expenses that are going on in the amenity fee. It falls short. Now, when the developer changes what's called the prevailing rate, okay, they go to a balance sheet. They know what it costs to run the rec centers that they own. They own everything south of 44, as far as rec centers, swimming pools, postal stations, what else? Executive golf courses. They own all of it. Okay, they are having to pay the operating costs and the maintenance costs, and so they know what it's costing them. They use a spreadsheet to figure out what the amenity fee should be, and so by having that, it works as a reset. When you sell your house, it goes to the new prevailing rate. So if there was any shortcome in the CPI adjustments, they come up to the current rate, and that helps equalize the budget, but it's tough. I mean, the district staff does a great job every year at trying to balance the books, and they pass on information to the district supervisors for the amenities budget. It's a very complex budget. There's a lot of different funds and moving parts to it. But no, they're never going to cap it again. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Steve says, Jim, a low security federal correction institution with an adjacent minimum security satellite camp. Okay. Mark says, how do you obtain confidence that the pre-owned home, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself because I know this one very well. It's been a big topic. How do you obtain confidence that the pre-owned home you buy is in compliance with deed restrictions, as the new homeowner will assume those responsibilities? Right now, there is nothing in place, and I've been talking with at least one district supervisor about a methodology for doing this. The general idea is you're going to pay a fee to have it inspected. The district, somebody from community standards would come out and inspect it, and then say yes, it's good, or no, it's not. These are the things that are wrong with it. At that point, you could go back to the current owner and say, well, I need you to fix this, or take $10,000 off the price to fix it. That's pretty much the only way to do it. But otherwise, you do assume the responsibilities. Tony Owen says, is there a waiting list for view water designer home lots? I see interior lots released. Am I missing something? Thank you for your informative videos. Tony, you need to be talking with a village's realtor if you want to get one of those view lots. When they come out, they go quickly. They came out Thursday or Friday in the area in Shady Brook. And I looked Friday afternoon, all gone. All the view sites were gone. I think there was one left. And it was $200,000, and it was overlooking the golf course. If you're not working with a realtor, and then it's almost a lottery, you have to tell your realtor, I want this lot, and this lot, and you'll see what you can get. It is tough. Let's see. Mike B says, Tony, you have to act fast when they release. Yeah. If you don't have your request in with your realtor before they're released, and they'll let you know because they get word the night before what's coming out the next morning. Then if you're not working with them, you don't have a chance. They're in such high demand. I've heard upwards of 30 people in line that were requesting the same lot. And I know some of the ones at the southern end, they were in extremely high demand because they were awesome lots. I mean, I was down there flying, and I was like, whoa, this is cool. Really, really nice lot. But, work with a realtor. That's all you can do. Let's see. Retired in Florida says, hello, thanks. Is the old Spider MX Action Sports Complex and surrounding area owned by the villages, and will they build in that area? No, it's not owned by the villages. It is somebody else that owns it. As I understand it, it is scheduled for some residential development, but it is not the villages. Terry says, any updates on the food building at Edna's for opening date? I don't know. I haven't heard a firm opening date. We talked about this a little earlier. But it's probably about another month away. My realtor, Steve says, my realtor told me they know 48 hours before they go on sale. Yep, that's about right. Let's see. He says, you can also request the current owner show you the approval of community standards for any work they have done. You can go to community standards and ask them to pull it also. They have records of any, just looking at the time. They have any records of applications for the ARC in those records. But it definitely behooves you to do that, look at that, and see what's being done, and look at the deed restrictions. It's a process that needs some refining. As a village's resident, I'm unhappy with it. When I was a district supervisor, we were pulling our hair out trying to figure out how to fix this, and I continue to talk with villages, district supervisors on this issue. But I wish I had a better answer. Ian says, is there golf cart access into Middleton? And if there is there concern about kids living in Middleton or going to the high school coming into the villages near Middleton via golf cart? Yes, there is. There is golf cart accessibility into it. Is there a fear of it? I don't think so. I had the pleasure last week, not this past week, but the week before, when Senator Rubio was here. He and I were basically the guests of honor of a tour of the new high school. Amazing facility. One of the things about that high school is, maybe there are some people that have lots of money. I don't know. But most of these are normal folks. These are folks that work for the villages or the district government or one of the tenant merchants or contractors. There's a whole list. You can go to the village's charter school website and see what their criteria are. But these parents have taken an interest in their children's education to make sure they get a good quality education. And they do. They get some of the best quality education that you can imagine. They're also required to put in 20 hours per year of volunteer time per child for working at the school. So there is a lot of parental involvement. And having lived in Memphis, Tennessee for 7 years, seeing the inner city schools and the problems that they had and comparing them to the suburb schools and the problems that existed there by comparison, and the parental involvement in both, parental involvement is everything in our education system. You know, so would they come into the area near Middleton via golf course, via golf cart? Yeah, they could. I mean, you know, if they're living in the the southern section that's just now starting to be built of Middleton, then they're going to cross under Landstone Boulevard via golf cart tunnel, and they'll be able to come right down Bar Boulevard, and that will take them straight into Eastport. Eastport is open to the general public. You know, again, I've had the opportunity to meet some of these young people, really, really squared away kids. Yeah, they're not perfect. You know, they're teenagers, and we were all teenagers at once, and we're all going to do stupid things as teenagers, and they probably will too. But I will tell you that after becoming a county commissioner and getting to meet some of the kids that are in 4-H, that are in FFA, some of the kids at the South Sumter High School, and now some of the kids at the Villages High School, a lot of faith has been restored in the younger generation for me. I feel much more confident of the young people coming up. It's not all, you know, oops, drop my phone, you know, sitting there doing this continuously day in and day out. You know, these are really good young people, and I think I'm not worried about it. I mean, the home that I've just purchased, or I'm in the process of purchasing, when I go out on the back lanai, I can see the high school. I can see the football stadium. And I am unconcerned. Okay. Don, how are you so lucky to get your new Lakeview lot? So I had 3 rabbit's legs in my pocket, bouquet of 4-leaf clovers, said a few prayers, and I just luck of the draw. So that, you know, it was just sheer luck. Jimmo says, I'm from Memphis also. Okay. I wasn't in Memphis. I was in Bartlett. Bartlett is a suburb of Memphis up on the northeast side. Very nice community. I lived there for 7 years before moving to Florida. And, you know, it was a beautiful area. I loved it. Except it snowed, and it got cold, and I don't want, cold and snow are 4-letter words. We'll leave it at that. So C Diesel 0 says, Don, is there a simple explanation for how the developer determines which neighborhood entrances get a gatehouse as opposed to just gates? Ask me to understand my wife first. I can give you a better answer to that. So through personal observation, for every segment or section of the villages, there's at least one manned gate. So if you go look at the area between Morse and Buena Vista, between 466A and 44, that's going to be the villages of Fernandina, Hillsboro, DeSoto, or Hillsboro, Lake Deaton, Dunedin. There's a couple more. Anyway, there is one manned gate on Morse, one manned gate on Buena Vista. The other 2 entrances are unmanned. If you look at the area on the other side of Buena Vista, going into those 2 villages, there is one manned gate. I believe it's the one across from Evans Prairie Country Club, and the other 2 gates are unmanned. The other 3 gates, yeah, because there's one up by Pinellas Plaza. And it's similar throughout the villages. There's generally one manned gate, and that's so that you have some place that people can ask for directions and things like that. Yeah. If you look now at the area, what do they call it, where after a while of doing this, your brain goes numb. St. Catharines, Hawkins, and that. So the only manned gate down there is at the bottom of I was going to say Middleton, whatever road that is that hits 470, not Chandler. Drawing a blank. Anyway, everybody knows which word I'm talking about. That one's kind of off. If you look at Marsh Bend and DeSoto, there's one gate, or not DeSoto, Marsh Bend and DeLuna. There's a gate at the north end on 301 that's manned for DeLuna, and one gate at Marsh Bend that's manned. So, again, they try and have one on each main road for each main area. Let's see. John and Jane says, we moved from Germantown. Ooh, the rich people. I say that in joking. Germantown is a very beautiful town. And it's right there next to the... David said, Megison. Yes, that's the road I couldn't think of. Megison. There's one at the south end of Megison on 470. There's a gate. Anyway, yeah, Germantown, Tennessee is on the east side of Memphis. And it's very nice. It's just beyond, if I recall, Collierville. But anyway, we're getting off subject. Let's see. Just wondering, is there a reason that commercial property along 466A is growing so much faster than Village's owned property? The Villages wanted to buy that property and build 800 homes and do some commercial development. City of Wildwood said no. That they didn't meet their standards for sidewalks and trees, and all the trees are gone in that area that used to be in there. But I digress. That was, some of the things that I see that wouldn't happen in the Villages. For example, you have Publix, and right in front of it, basically, is Aldi. You only see one grocery store in a Villages shopping center. They don't do that. They don't make their merchants compete against each other. They compete for your business, but they don't compete against each other. I'm trying to remember the name of the development group. I used to know this, but yeah, there's another development group involved with that Trailwinds Plaza. It's commercial development is definitely it's a different animal. There's a lot of things that come into play. Villages merchants and Villages property, they're paying extra for golf cart accessibility. And that's a huge benefit for them. That represents 20 to 30% of their business, the golf cart accessibility. It just is what it is. Kim had made a comment about puppy daddy brain or something like that. Yeah, trust me. Every time I hear her walk outside, I expect her to be, walking outside to, hey, let me go lay out in the yard and deliver a couple of puppies. Let's see. Cecilia says, RMO 214, new building at Lake Deaton Plaza, or a Dunkin' Donuts and yet another bank. Yeah, it's like the sixth bank at Lake Deaton Plaza and a Dunkin' Donuts. So Linda E says, why isn't the gates manned at the entrance to the polo field in Polo Ridge of Buena Vista at the light? Many times golf carts are going through gates instead of using multimodal paths. That whole area up there by the Polo Grounds is a different animal altogether. And it's the traffic pattern there. I've been there dozens of times, and I'm still confused. They should not be crossing Buena Vista at the Polo Grounds. There is a tunnel there for them. If they're crossing at that point across Buena Vista, they are breaking the law. That's all there is to it. Okay, sorry. We're at our hour, so we're gonna make this our last commercial. I got an email come in. I'll take that one also. I just saw it pop up on the screen. So David Courtney says, any update on the piece of land at the end of Dabney and 470 looks like the size of a lot for a Wawa or 7-Eleven. No, I haven't heard anything yet, and I've been looking and look continuously, like every morning after I finish the Sudoku puzzle. I come in, I check email, and I check a couple of websites for plans and updates, and I haven't seen anything yet. But as soon as I do, I'll let everybody know. So I got a question here. It says, what is your opinion on the best or most favorable neighborhoods going into Eastport? I'm thinking the areas north of Central Lake would be more appealing than those in the south near 470, etc. The Moultrie Creek, Shady Brook et al. What do you think? And that's from Mark. So, let me copy this now. That way you guys can read it also, because sometimes I jump over words. And we will paste. And I didn't get it. This Apple computer. I'll tell you what, I am still learning Appleese. There we go. Copy. Paste. All right, there we go. Anyway, I personally think that the areas south of Eastport are a better option. One, because you have Eastport and you have Middleton as far as commercial areas. I seen recently a map that showed about 10 spots for restaurants going in at Middleton. Plus there's going to be quite a few restaurants in Eastport, and you're going to be sandwiched between them. 3 miles south of there, of Eastport, where McNeil and Bexley Trail, they'll come together kind of like they do at that kind of like what Buena Vista and Morse Boulevard do at Lake Sumter Landing. And there's a large commercial district plan there that's more than likely going to be another town square. And I don't think it will be the last either. So you're going to be basically in like a magic triangle as far as places to go. North of Eastport is not going to be bad. It won't. You'll be closer to Sawgrass Grove and Magnolia Plaza. But, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that there's a bad area in the villages. Kim, thank you for your donation. Caveman777, thank you for your donations. I appreciate it. It definitely helps keep things running here. It really is a matter of what you want, what you're looking for in a location. For me, I kind of like this. I'm not going to be moving in anytime soon. It's got to be a rental property. But, it's villages will continue to grow for another 20, 25, maybe 30 years. Who knows? So it will be interesting to see what does happen as we move farther south. But it's really, I think it's probably more preference. Let's see. RMO 214 says, who could someone contact to possibly have a turn signal light added to the light at Megason and Route 44? When turning, it's dangerous to see oncoming traffic. Would it be DOT or Sumter? There's no P in Sumter County. Sumter. There's no P. Megason, Route 44. I had a discussion about that intersection. I don't remember. I know part of the reason for building the Buena Vista extension was to take some of the pressure off that interchange. The Buena Vista extension is that you go through a traffic circle, you hang a right, and it takes you into Buena Vista. And then you can make a left or right turn there. That intersection, I believe, would be FDOT if you were going to go someplace. Let's see. Danny says, love living in Newell. I feel I'm central to everything. Great location. Hour and 10 minutes to Spanish Springs. Nice ride. Golf cart ride. Danny, I couldn't agree with you more. This is a retirement community. Enjoy the ride. I like going up to Spanish Springs in the golf cart. It's a lot of fun. It's very enjoyable. Even in the hot summer, you get a nice breeze going through the golf cart, put the windshield down. There's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So Antonio says, Finney has a manned gate. Yes, it does. And there's not another manned gate going into that section. Not at either of the entrances there at, McClure. Neither one of them have a gate. So yeah, again, one gate. Wow. So we've been at this almost an hour and 15 minutes, folks. I am getting a dirty look over the monitor that it's time to cook some salmon on the grill for dinner. And so we have guests coming over. We're going to play some samba this evening, as we always do. Unless, of course, Lily decides to deliver puppies. I will post pictures just as soon as puppies start coming. I am setting up a live stream cam also. So part of the day when the puppies are born and thereafter, you'll be able to watch the puppies. We're going to be looking for homes for the puppies, and the profits all go to right now 2, and it looks like there might be a third animal charity that we're going to be donating to Animal House. Joshua House, Animal House. I've been watching too many John Belushi movies. Joshua House, Mid-Florida Golden Retriever Rescue, and there's another one that I'm looking at this point to share the proceeds that we get from the puppies. And of course, there will be the lucky people that get to take a Golden Retriever puppy home. I love my Goldens. What can I say? Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me. Wow, we've got 174 people on. I think that's a new record. Thank you all. Hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps. And also my sponsors, please support them. I've got some new sponsors coming on, some really good products that I would endorse, and I am probably putting in my own home, or at least the new house that I'm buying. Anyway, thank you all again, and have a great weekend the rest of your Sunday.